And I think right now that you mentioned that round 3 slide, we got our matchup to deal with. And these are two teams with relatively large rosters, I like to say. Trailing Dreams versus the Night Logic being our matchup here. And while I give you some time here, let's take a look at where the record stands. Night Logic at the 0-2 spot. I think Trailing Dreams is also the same. 2 teams. Topic the set for the set on stream. It's yet another get right set for both teams.
Yeah, now the situation is a little bit more, I would say a little bit more daring. I don't know the right word to put there.
Rough or dire, I
Yeah, it's a,
guess.
I would say, yeah, it's a little bit more dire because to get to heck, even to get to beta bracket, you need what, 4-2 record. I
Your
don't.
best chance.
Yeah, your best chance, and you will know how tiebreakers are gonna, settle between everything. So that's gonna be a very, very challenging. Heck, you talk about football. We're talking about college football earlier. We saw tiebreakers. If you watched the ACC championship, Duke got in at 7-5 because of tiebreakers. Don't ask me how. I don't. Not my problem. Not my situation. They do them. But yeah, so tiebreakers may be your best friend or worst enemy. So at this point for both these teams, all you can do is win. Like, no matter what. I know I've been hammering this point home this entire time, but you can only control what's in your possession. You can only the only thing you can do, beat teams in front of you, and both these teams are going to try to do that. Get a win in that set win column, and maybe start their path towards making a bracket. But of course, every good story starts at the beginning, and the beginning for this one will be one of my favorites. Honestly, I like this one. Rainmaker on Undertow Spillway.
Rainmaker on Undertow Spillway is almost the map that will always get airtime in Rainmaker. You always gotta love it here, and I've started to slowly but surely warm up to this map. I know people will talk about from eons ago here topic about the uninkable area now being inkable on the left hand side. I get to, sometimes people still always note that each go around. So I think for both teams, I think you mentioned before the start always mattering here. I think for both teams at this point, especially with where the records is the 0-2 and trying to build your way up to hopefully 4 straight wins for them. It also this start will give you the cushion that you need, especially in a play all 3 set. It gives you the margin error that you need, and to speak on the other side, if on the losing end of it, that your margin error becomes razor thin, especially with how competitive each of these games can go. So, I think for both teams, focus is win that first stage and just see where you can build off of that.
Yeah, and what a first stage, like you said. I've always liked this one because I think it's, I won't say it's like fairly common to agree. I don't know, but Keon, I want your opinion on this. I think this is one of the best Rainmaker maps in the game. Personally, what?
Easily.
Yeah, thank you.
That easily.
Yeah,
Don't worry. I agree with you on that.
yeah, I like it because I think the main reason why is because how quickly you can just change courses, right? Like,
Yes.
let's say you get a wipeout. When you get a wipeout, they elect to go the right hand side. That quick checkpoint, that quick points, you break it, you're good. And then if when the enemy team respawns, you can then elect to take it far left and just milk the clock and have this very very not stally, because that elbow, kind of stally, because that elbow, it can get very stally, but have that kind of slower, that kind of, would make the enemy team make a mistake, make them come to us kind of approach. And I like that about this one.
It's actually kind of funny because I think this is probably one of the few strategical maps here in Undertow in Rainmaker that we have in this particular map as we're about to load right in here relatively soon because you have the option of do we want to go for the quick cap on the right hand side or do we want to go
up and how fast they can change the momentum of this game. But even if you do, you have to at least contest mid, because look at this right now. It's all orange. Left side and right side. Alex getting a Rainmaker, though, is going to help out. But still, mid is completely in the favor of Night Logic. So they can just paint up, get a couple specials, and just run this, really.
Yeah, and exactly to your point, as you know, the specials need to be built up there. Now you got to see if you can get the rush onto mid. There's still plenty of time. You have no checkpoint to ever so to work off of, as you do get to see the Ultra Stamp being tossed right in. Doesn't land anybody else, as we do get to see 15 seconds left to go on the clock here. Rock is throwing out this Rainmaker shot, and it actually lands onto Ice Spice there as well. 49 seconds were left on the Rainmaker hole, but with the 3-member down situation, Atlas is going to get the wipeout. That's going to be it here, as now they're the only member picking up this Rainmaker. Atlas is just celebrating there, as the respawns weren't going to favor them at all. What a nice rebound there from Trailing Dreams, despite the Soul Star and Night Logic getting the good advantage on offense. Now they were like, all right, forget that idea. Let's go right side, get the push in. That's gonna be game one over the Trailing Dreams. Night Logic was oh so close to on several occasions.
Yeah, and I want to shout out Atlas specifically, because through that entire game, it felt like they were the ones being that engager. They were the ones that were forcing these fights. And while early on, the Night Logic did a really, really good job of shutting them down, because I think they were the first ones to go down. Anytime they try to go for a flank, guess what? They were shut down. Anytime they tried to pop Free Slider, everyone moved away and then collapsed on it after. But all it took, once that wipeout happened, and once Trailing Dreams got to the checkpoints, you know what happened? Atlas, they got into the base, caused a distraction, and that allowed the rest of Trailing Dreams to get points, to get to that 37 mark, which Night Logic could not break past. So shout out to them. But we're gonna see, can they continue this? Because honestly, I like the blue dapples here on our second map mode, Clan Blitz Museum. You have that way of clearing out plat. You have that way of getting up that ramp. You have that way of getting that right side cleared as well. So I think they stick with it. Honestly, I see very little changes from either side here.
This is probably the solid map to have those blue dapples here. The Reef start providing several opportunities, so wouldn't be shocked if we get to see little adjustments. I am fully aware from what I'm seeing here. There might have been a substitution from the Night Logic here, so if anything, there might be a singular. Maybe there may be a few changes to their comp, dynamically speaking, too. So wondering what Night Logic wants to dish out here. Other side as well, I wouldn't be shocked that Trailing Dreams just stick to what worked best for them. Even if they had the slower start, their defense pretty much struck gold in Undertow Rainmaker, and they basically were able to build off of that into something special. So I think for the Night Logic, how do you rebound in a mode where basically now the focus is your team coordination and seeing how you can get that push onto enemy base here, as we're about to load into this Clan Blitz map. Again, Trailing Dreams need one more stage win in order to get the dub. Earth is dishing out your Nautilus. That's the one with the triple splashdown as well. Pencil and S+91 making its grand appearance to kick off Museum Clan Blitz here, Topic.
I'm not surprised. Like the top of your screen, 2 flanks I am surprised about, but I'm not surprised with how Trailing Dreams decided to open this game very aggressive on that right-hand side or left-hand side, causing a distraction. Unfortunately, one member is going to go down. That will be Atlas, their dapples, but all these members clump together, great for missiles. You saw right there. Unfortunately, no one's going to go down. Instead, Mr. Charbon going down to Earth's not there. So really quickly, Night Logic has been able to rebound here from a really disadvantageous start, but it's just been fighting back all the time. I feel like everyone is going at least one member down. There's a jumper coming as well, going 2 down thanks to Earth Nautilus. And now if you are Trailing Dreams, you're going to be backed up on your plat. But thankfully, this is Museum. That ramp is notoriously hard to go up if you don't have at least one special to kind of break through.
Exact point. But right away, that's the wipeouts to get things started. The Night Logic managed to find a way to breach through, as everybody else is now swimming up there. Now they're just trying to throw clamps into this basket. There are 3 small clamps available. Silver immediately throwing 2 more in. It's down to the 62 points remaining. 3 members immediately drop. Jason does get a few more clamps. The wipeout is there, but the damage already done. Topic 3 minutes and 40 seconds into this matchup. Night Logic has a great response to start. They're also past the 60-point threshold. Now the free clan coming in for Trailing Dreams, but a lot to basically digest with that push. One member already snuck in. Rest of the team able to follow suit, and it just led to a push that got them pretty close.
I mean, but we've seen this before with the last game. A Night Logic, very, very good start. One wipeout, flipped it entirely in the favor of Trailing Dreams. It looks like Night Logic kind of learning from their mistake last time and just surrounding that ball, waiting for it to break, which it's going to do. So now, if you are Trailing Dreams, you have to find a way and you have to try to find those nice picks, find those just clean picks, and make sure that you can get Atlas in. That's their biggest goal here. Once Atlas got in and got a double kill last game, that's what started. That was the kind of the starting engine for that push. So you kind of do that same thing once again, but these flanks and Earth, a nice one onto the pencil there, getting to the splashdown will not confirm the pick. Very, very clutch there, just staying alive. And make you see right here, the Night Logic just making sure they have this right side of the map painted in their colors.
And I'm actually I'm also paying attention to how this push is also materializing there, as well as you noted, there's still a lot of orange ink down on the turf here for the Night Logic, still having some great control of this game. Where's the chance for Trailing Dreams to go there as Atlas just runs over Silver with that Reef Slider? Maybe the door could be open here to start, but but Atlas does trade with their lives. Booyah Bomb, 10 of missiles all used, but not enough purple ink past mid, and this is still only going to slow this, so this is not going to quite materialize the way I'd imagine Trailing Dreams wanted to make this one count. Tensel's going to drop as all Ice Spice has to retreat. Chibu using this Ultra Sand, see if they can stamp their way through. 3 members have gone down, and this is going to be the push that kicks things off. Yet another wipeout on the board. They're past the penalty points. Now this is going to be a bigger deficit here for Trailing Dreams, a bigger lead even for the Night Logic. Now a handful of clams, they go 3 down. Jason just has to escape with their lives, but the lead just got even bigger here, Topic, as they cash in on even more points.
Yeah, the chasm between these two teams is starting to appear impassable for Trailing Dreams, but you always gotta remember, things can switch in an instant. Yes, it's not Rainmaker, it's not gonna be that fast, but Atlas just says, hey, I'm playing fast, that's what we're gonna do. Not quite able to confirm the second kill. Missiles, though, are not gonna help as well. The splashdown from Earth, staying alive, help them stay alive, get, 2 members down, and the Night Logic not missing a beat, just getting right back to play. You see Chipu in another one, just making sure they can get that nice snipe there. You know what? Wiper is a sniper, that's why they rhyme. And now we're gonna see if the Night Logic can capitalize on that. They're not quite able to. Just Silver remaining, going to get that score and go down. Unfortunately for them, no follow-up, so that means now if you're Trailing Dreams, you have 2 power claims to work with, and you have a little bit of momentum, but can you put it all together is a question that needs to be answered.
You want what's even crazier is that could have been the most devastating push that the Night Logic could have dished out. That was 3 power claims, and they can only cash in on 1 and not break through the penalty points. So you got 3 power clams, and no, there is no penalty points. Why? Because they haven't gotten a push in, so they are able to win a fight here. That is going to matter the most, as we're down to the 8 seconds left here. Atlas and the crew needs to happen here. The Night Logic goes 2 down. This could be huge, as Ice Spice is still trying to work their way through. Atlas is just trying to run right in. The trade is there, but that's going to favor the Night Logic each time, and it is going to be a delayed 3. Charlotte has to make something count here, but they're going to go down by themselves. Atlas gets a pick, but they're going to go down on their own. The Frozen Pro is just trying to play heroics, just ain't gonna do much. It is gonna be a 1-1 tie coming up here soon. Peony's not gonna be anywhere close to the power clams right there. What a response from the Night Logic. Got a little dicey at the end, to say the least, but Night Logic clamped down. We got a 1-1 tie to see which team gets their first set dub for Lowing.
Yeah, and honestly, I want to shout out from the very beginning of the game, the Night Logic, they did not fold. We saw, I mentioned at the beginning of the game, when I believe it was the Doolies and one other from the side of Trailing Dreams, when they both dropped, shout out Night Logic, they did not fold. Yes, they did go 1 down, but they managed to go 3-2, and they just never looked back. They kept up the pressure. They shut down Atlas, which was very, very big for them. They made sure that Atlas could not move. They made sure that the rest of the members of Trailing Dreams could not follow up by kind of separating them, especially. That did help out. That is what led them to that win. They kept up the pressure. They got I believe 2 wipeouts on on Trailing Dreams plat. Very, very helpful there. So just great gameplay, I will say. Just they played well. I don't know what to say.
I mean, you broke it down very succinctly and very well. There is just Night Logic is not bending down and able to get those key finds there against Trailing Dreams, and this is kind of a very interestingly tense game three sub that we're gonna have here. I'm gonna keep illustrating here. Both teams still looking for their first set dub of this particular lowing to here too. Maybe this game two could mean a lot of stuff for them, but what we've seen so far, their topic is Night Logic has great start, and it probably took a few rough plays that kind of just swung the tides here. Night Logic able to clamp things down in that Clan Blitz map, really starting to show. So I mean, this is a pivotal game for you, honestly, for just any chance to make it to day two alpha or beta in this case, and Mako Mart zones being the map of choice. I mean, at this point, this is almost a staple of most of zones at this point. So now both teams, now it's a battle of your fundamentals. How do you play against each other? And really, for the Trailing Dreams topic, the ultimate question for them is how they're going to be able to respond, especially with the way that game two played out for them.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this map, right? Zones Mako. This is kind of even for both teams. Like you have Silver one shot. Not the best. It's a good shot. What? Good shot map. You have Earth with that splashdown to kind of cover the ledges, and then on side of Bravo team, do I even gotta say, Mr. Carbon with despite being named Carbon, not playing Carbon, playing S-Blast. That's helpful for them. You have Atlas with the dualies, very aggressive player to make use of the alleyways. So I'm excited to see what these teams bring out. Both these teams are ready and raring to go, looking for that first set win from the side of the Night Logic, sticking with what they have. They like what they see. From the other side, Ice Spice, interestingly, going over to the 52 gal. You know what? I'm not a hater. And Peony going to the heavy edit instead of pencil. I think that's very helpful for playing that more aggressive playstyle that you have to counter with Night Logic.
I think you're exactly on the ball there, because Pencil will want to play for paint and to just farm coolers. By switching over to that heavy edit, you got a little bit more aggression you can work with. You can now move forward and play with the rest of your team. There to provide the coolers and the support that they need. But right now the problem is there's so many members that have dropped here from Trailing Dreams. Night Logic just decided to wake up here in Mako Mart zones and immediately get a few members on the board. There is going to be the trade, but there's only a few members pretty much alive. Silver has dropped on yet another trade on the board. Two on both ends, and it's Ice Spice and Charbon that is basically alive right now for Trailing Dreams. Night Logic has the halfway marker here topic, and they're still continuing strong. They got the cooler out, maybe looking for that emphatic dub, but this Bomb might have other ideas if placed correctly. It is going to be thrown on that left-hand side of the map. It does not get neutral, and Topic, this is huge right now for the Night Logic.
Yeah, just look at these staggers going down for Night Logic, just getting those Atlas trying to run in, able to get one, but they're gonna get cornered and collapsed on. Repsides at the ready are gonna pop it, are going to neutralize it, but they're gonna go down. Peony getting one, Silver is gonna go down as well, but Peony's kill there not gonna do a whole lot to change the course of fate, and Night Logic putting a very, very strong stamp on round number 3. Oh, no, on game 3, round 3 for their first set win of Low Link. And wow, what a game, and what a way to kind of build back some of that momentum. Yes, you did go down 0-2, but after that win, I know the whole team's feeling great after that.
That whole team has to be feeling fantastic, especially with it really kind of leads credence to the fact that, okay, maybe the game one, it took one bad rough play and then they just couldn't recover, and then they just woke up in that second game. And Trailing Dreams, what was presumed to be, they could have found the response that they needed, but it just took too much time to materialize on both fronts. The Wheel Bomb not getting the cap was unfortunate. Triple splash from Earth kind of just snuck it and got the dub. I think the substitution, with Earth coming in from game 2, kind of just changed the entire complexion of this game, of that set, and it showed in spades. Night Logic 1-2, Trailing Dreams 0-3 here topic. So that is your first 3 rounds.